Okay, students, welcome to the next session, that is Structural Organization in Animals Part 2. In last video, we discussed about 25 bits. In this session, we will discuss remaining 25 bits.
26th bit. Intercalated discs are present in. This is the question. Here there are four options given. So the striated muscles. So in the striated muscles, intercalated discs we could not find. So option 1 is wrong. Unstriated muscles also. So these are not contains any kind of striations. So it is also wrong. Cardiac muscles, it is correct. Generally here, so the cardiac muscle, here see cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles. So generally cardiac muscles like this way will be there. The cardiac muscles like this way will be there. Like this way, like this way. So see, like this striations will be there. Okay, like this way. So it is also like this way. Okay, it is connected with this. 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 Like this. See, these are called intercalated discs. These are called intercalated discs. Okay, so intercalated discs are commonly present in cardiac muscles. So 26th question, correct option is third. Fourth option, neurons are wrong. Okay, so generally intercalated discs are unique and distinguishing feature of cardiac muscles. They are dark, irregular, zigzag. They are dark, irregular, zigzag partitions between adjacent cardiac muscles. It is one cardiac muscle, second cardiac muscle, third cardiac muscle, fourth cardiac, fifth, like this way. In adjacent cardiac muscles, these are dark, irregular, zigzag partitions between adjacent cardiac muscle cells. They have both transverse and lateral partitions. Intercalated discs, these are called intercalated discs. Intercalated discs provide a strong attachment between adjacent cells. Electrical coupling for spread of excitation as well as contraction, these helps. Okay, so 26th question, third option is correct. Next, 27th question. Which type of muscles show peristaltic movements in the gastrointestinal tract? Which type of muscles show peristaltic movements in the gastrointestinal tract? See here, four options given. Striated muscles. So these striated muscles are not found in gastrointestinal tract. Smooth muscles. Generally, smooth muscles are found in gastrointestinal tract. So these only smooth muscles also called non-striated muscles. Smooth muscles help in bringing about involuntary movements in the body, such as peristalsis. So peristalsis movements occurs in the alimentary canal. These muscles are found in posterior part of esophagus, stomach, and intestine, which undergo peristaltic movement in gastrointestinal tract. So second option is correct option. Next, cardiac. Generally, so striated muscles. So peristaltic movements in cardiac, these two are not associated. Skeletal muscles, this is also not associated. Therefore, 27th question, correct option is 2. Next, 28. Cardiac muscle fibers are. Cardiac muscle fibers. See, cardiac muscle fibers are striated and involuntary. Cardiac muscles are striated and involuntary. So what about cardiac muscle fibers? So cardiac muscles always striated and involuntary. So generally cardiac myofibrils have transverse faint dark and light bands which alternates with each other. Cardiac muscles are involuntary in functions. Okay, so cardiac muscles are striated muscles. Okay, so and also involuntary when they are undergoes divisions, undergoes contraction and relaxation process, we don't know. So that it is involuntary. So first option is correct. So these are striated and voluntary. We don't know when those muscle fibers are undergoes contraction and relaxation. So that second option is wrong. Non-striated and involuntary. Actually, these are not non-striated, striated. So that third option is wrong. Non-striated and voluntary. So that it is a fourth option also wrong. Here, 28th question, correct option is 1. Striated and involuntary muscles. Next, gap junctions are characteristically found in gap junctions. Okay, so generally gap junctions allow molecules and ions to pass freely between cells. Between the cells, there is a gap junctions will be there. These gap junctions allow molecules and ions from one cell to another cells. Cardiac muscles are autorhythmic. Generally, cardiac muscles are autorhythmic intercalated discs, which are located between cardiac muscle cells. Okay, that's all. See here, intercalated cardiac muscles. See, first option is gap junctions are characteristically found in where cardiac muscles. Gap junctions are commonly found in cardiac muscles. Okay, so that this question, 29th question, correct option is 2, cardiac muscles. Okay, so here about cardiac muscles, if you will see, cardiac muscles are autorhythmic and located between cardiac muscle cells. They contain gap junctions which provide channels between the cells. The intercalated discs allows waves of depolarization to sweep across cells, thus synchronizing muscle contraction. So 29th question, correct option is cardiac muscles. Okay, in these remaining first options, third option and fourth option, so the gap junctions are not found. Next, 30th question, contractile proteins are found in. See, contractile proteins. See, contractile proteins means what? Not a bone, not a blade, not a cartilage. Contractile proteins are found in muscles. Generally, muscles have contractile nature, our body muscles. So the contractile structure of muscle cells are called myofibrils. Myofibrils. Myofibrils are made up of myofilaments. Myofilaments generally are of two types. Those are myosin and actin filament. Okay, so contraction occurs due to sliding of actin filaments on myosin filaments. So sliding means movement of muscles occurs due to myosin and actin filament. So that 30th question, correct option is 4. Next, 31. Sprain means what? Swelling, but not dislocation. So when we will fall off, at that moment suddenly we will face so swelling in different places. That is called sprain. Okay, so swelling is caused due to stretching of what? What can be stretched during sprain? Is it tendon? No. So tendons are not associated with the stretching of body parts. Okay, it's not a tendon. Is it ligament? Ligament also. Ligament helps to bound muscles to the skeleton. So it is also wrong. Okay, muscle cells. Sorry, ma, here little correction about this. Sprain is caused due to stretching of ligaments only. Generally here, sprain in injury in joint in which some of the fibers of supporting ligaments are ruptured through continuity of ligaments and its binding to two bones remain intact. So that the sprain is caused due to stretching of ligaments. Why ligaments affected? See, generally muscles are attached to the skeleton. So when sprain swelling occurs, so in that muscles, ligaments only affected. So that 31 question, second option is correct. So generally muscles and nerves not involved in this process. 31 question, correct option is, second option is correct. Next, the nerve cells don't possess. This question is finished. Sorry, 33 question. Nisl granules are present in, sorry, 32 question. The nerve cells don't possess. Generally, nerve contains axons, dendrites, nerve endings. So nerve cells don't contain adhering junctions. Adhering junctions are called stick junctions. Okay, that's all. Next, Nisl granules are present in which part of the neuron? So Nisl granules, this is cyton. This is called cyton. In the cyton, what will be there? Nisl granules are present. Okay, so generally Nisl granules or Nisl bodies are present in cyton or cell body. Nisl bodies are basophilic structure of various shapes. Okay, so those cyton contains Nisl granules. So Nisl granules are not located in synaptic knob, axon, and nerve endings. So that among these four options, the correct option for this question is 1. Next, see 34 question. The functional junctions between axon of one neuron and the dendrite of the next is called synapse. Okay, the functional junction between the axon of one neuron. See, so here it is one neuron. It is connected to another neuron. This region is called synapse. Synapse is an area of specialized junction between two neurons. It is one neuron, it is another neuron. In between two neurons, there is a junction that is called synapse. It helps for transmission of impulse. Synapse between axon terminal of one and dendrite terminal of another end. See here, see synapse between axon terminal. See, it is called axon. It is called axon. Axon, it consists of nerve endings. Okay, so synapse between axon terminal of one dendron. Axon terminal of one dendron. Axon terminal of one. Axon terminal of one and dendron terminal of another. Dendron terminal of, see here it is. These are dendron terminals of another mode of neurotransmission. So across synapse. Okay, so nerve impulses travels through this and again entered into the dendrons. This is called synapse. Okay, so among these four options, synapse is correct option. 34th question, correct option is synapse 2. Next, 35 question. Neuroglia. Neuroglia. These are, what does it? Protect neurons, support neurons, make up of more than one half of the volume of neural tissue. Neuroglial cells are specialized cells. These are found in brain and spinal cord, which is supporting neurons. Those are called neuroglial cells. Okay, so about more than 50% of all brain cells are neuroglial cells. These cells have different kinds of shapes and transmit impulse from one neuron to another neuron. So that here, so it will protect neurons, support neurons, make up of more than half of the volume of neural tissue. 50% means half. So that these three options are correct. That is fourth, all of these is correct. Fourth option is correct option. Next, section B. Section B bits we will see here. Object 2, section B, object type of questions in this one. Epithelial cells of intestine involved in food absorption. What kind of epithelial cells in the intestine? So pinocytic vesicles, generally pinocytic vesicles are not found in intestine. So first option is wrong. Next, microvilli, yes. So these are epithelial cells of intestine involved in food absorption. Generally, like this way, small intestine is located. Small intestine. In the small intestine, there is finger-like projections. There is finger-like projection. These are called microvilli. This microvilli increase the surface area for absorption of food material. Okay, so see here, each epithelial cells of the villus that is located in intestine on its apical surface has many microscopic projections or microvilli that are exposed to intestinal lumen. These finger-like projections are called villi. These finger-like projections are called villi or microvilli. So that is for this question, second option is correct. Second option is correct. Okay, microvilli. Second option is correct. Okay, that's the next second option. Second question: the epithelial tissue present on the inner surface of bronchioles and fallopian tubes is what kind of epithelial tissue is found in inner surface of the bronchioles, that is respiratory tract and the fallopian tubes of the females? Squamous epithelium. So first option is squamous epithelium. Okay, it is wrong option. Squamous epithelium is not located in these respective parts. Cuboidal epithelium, it is also not present. Glandular epithelium, it is also not present. So ciliated epithelium, okay, ciliated columnar epithelia occurs in inner surface of hollow organs like fallopian tube and most of respiratory tract, that is bronchioles. So that second question, fourth option is correct option. See, third question. Third question. Which of the following is incorrect with respect to the junctions and its functions? See, there are four options given. Among those four options, which one is incorrect? Okay, see here, tight junction promotes leaking of substances across tissue. So generally, tight junction does not perform this function. Okay, so tight junction don't allow leaking of substances across tissue, but here given promotes leaking of substances. So that first option is wrong. Next, adhering junctions. Okay, so adhering junctions keep neighboring cells together. It is also called stick junction. It is correct option. Okay, that's all. Next, gap junctions connecting the cytoplasm of adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions and small molecules. These kind of junctions are commonly present in cardiac muscles. It is also correct option. Gap junctions. Then next, gap junctions. So gap junction facilitates the cells to communicate with each other. Yes, it is also correct. It is also correct. Okay, so gap junctions facilitate the cells to communicate with each other. In their communication, small molecules and ions are rapidly transferred from one cell to another cell. So that fourth option also correct. So among these four options, the first option is incorrect with respect to the junctions and its function. So this question, first option is incorrect. First option is correct answer. Next, fourth, during an injury, nasal septum gets damaged. Which cartilage is involved? during an injury, nasal septum means what? It is located in respiratory pathway in the nose, nasal cavities. It is gets damaged. Okay, so which cartilage in this one damaged? See, what is that? Elastic cartilage. Generally, elastic cartilage is not located in nasal cavities. So that first option is wrong. Hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage is occurs in larynx, nasal septum, tracheal rings, and costal cartilages. In hyaline cartilage, matrix is fiberless and glass-like structure. It gives those structures a definite but pliable form. It does not break. So that second option, correct option. Let's see calcified cartilage. It is wrong. Fibrous cartilage, it is wrong. So during an injury, nasal septum gets damaged. Which cartilage is involved? So hyaline cartilage is located in nasal septum. So ultimately, if nasal septum is damaged, hyaline cartilage is also damaged. So second option is correct option. Next, fifth question. See here, which cartilage is present at the end of the long bones? Calcified cartilage. Calcified cartilage. Calcified cartilage is not actually, it is not located in long bones. It is wrong option. So hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage. Yes. So hyaline cartilage is most abundant type of cartilage. Hyaline cartilage generally occurs in trachea, the larynx of nose, and end of long bones where they form joint. So fifth question, hyaline cartilage is correct. Next, elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage is not located in long bones. Fibrous cartilage, it is also not located in long bones. So fifth question, correct option is, second option is correct. Sixth question. The kind of tissue that forms the supportive structure in pinna, it is also found in. What kind of a tissue that forms the supportive structure in ear pinna? It is also found in. See here, sixth question. Tip of the nose, vertebrate, nails, ear ossicles. So kind of a tissue that forms the supportive structure in ear pinna is. See here, kind of a tissue that forms the supportive structure in the pinna. Pinna means what? Ear pinna. That is also found in ear pinna. Whatever may be the supportive structure is there, that is even found in tip of the nose. Yes, in the tip of the nose we can found whatever may be the supportive structure is located. Okay, tip of the nose we found. We cannot found in vertebrates, nails, and ear ossicles. So sixth question, correct option is tip of the nose. Generally, yellow elastic cartilage is found in external ear or ear pinna. External auditory canal, eustachian tube, tip of nose, epiglottis, and some laryngeal components, larynx region, laryngeal components. Elastin fibers in yellow elastic cartilage provide both color and elastic to cartilage. So tip of the nose is correct option. Next, seventh bit. What happens if the bone of a frog is kept in dilute hydrochloric acid? In a hydrochloric acid, if you will keep bone of the frog, what occurs? When is kept in dilute acid for long hours, then calcium, magnesium, potassium of inorganic part of matrix get dissolved. Organic part remains intact. Bones becomes flexible if kept in acid as calcium salt are removed from bone. So that first option is correct. It becomes flexible. First option is correct. Remaining, it turns black. It does not. It breaks into pieces. It does not. It shrinks. It becomes flexible because in that, so salts are dissolved so that it becomes flexible. Next. Which of the following is not a characteristic feature of biceps muscles? Okay, see, we are usually eighth question. Which of the following is not a characteristic feature of biceps muscle? Biceps muscles are called elbow muscles. Okay, in that muscles, what one feature is not a characteristic feature of? That is, see, we are usually able to make it contract merely by thinking about it. Yes, so biceps muscles are contract frequently. Okay, that's all. It is a feature of this only. Next, it has alternate light and dark bands. Yes, so our biceps muscle contains light and dark bands. It is correct. Next, third, its muscle fibers taper at both the ends. Yes, it does not contain tapering ends, pointed ends are not present in both the ends. So this is not a characteristic feature of the muscles. Okay, that's all. Next, fourth, its muscle fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. Yes, it is also characteristic feature of muscles. Muscle fibers in the muscles are bundled together in a parallel fashion. Generally, biceps muscles is a skeletal muscles or straightened muscles. Smooth muscle fibers are long, cylindrical, unbranched, thread-like cells, which show alternate dark and light bands. Smooth muscles are voluntary muscles. Smooth muscle fibers are spindle-shaped with bled middle part and tapering ends. But in this, we could not find. So that eighth question, not a characteristic feature. Third option is that feature is not a characteristic feature. Ninth question. Which of the following is correct pairing of a body part and the kind of muscle tissue that moves it? Which of the following pair is correctly paired about body parts and kind of muscle tissue that helps to move it? So iris, involuntary smooth muscles, it is found in eye. Heart wall, involuntary unstraightened muscles. Involuntary unstraightened muscles. So heart wall, involuntary unstraightened muscles. Biceps of upper arm, smooth muscle fibers. Okay. Next, fourth one is abdominal wall and smooth muscles. Here, like this way, 4 options given. Abdominal wall and smooth muscles. 4 options given. In these 4 options, which one is correct option? That is, we have to find. See, iris, it is involuntary smooth muscles. It is correct. Among 4 options, first option is correct. See, heart wall, it is not an involuntary unstraightened muscles. It is a cardiac muscle. Heart wall is cardiac muscles. Okay, not a involuntary, okay, not unstraightened, cardiac muscles. Okay, so that it is wrong option. Let's see third option, biceps of upper arm. It is not a smooth muscle fibers. It is a skeletal muscle fibers actually. Skeletal muscle fibers. Skeletal muscles. Third one is skeletal muscle fibers, but they have given smooth muscle fibers. So that third option also wrong. Next here, abdominal wall. Here, so fourth, muscles in abdominal wall. Skeletal muscles. Abdominal wall. Muscles in abdominal wall or skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscle. So that among the 4 options, the correct option for this question is first option, iris, involuntary smooth muscles, correct option. 1 is correct option. 10th question. Inflammatory substance produced during allergic reactions by mast cells is inflammatory. Inflammatory substances means what? Allergic substances produced during allergic reactions by mast cells. Mast cells means what? A kind of a white blood cells. Those are histamine, heparin, serotonin, and fibrinogen. So actually, a kind of inflammatory substances are produced during allergic reactions by mast cells is histamine. Histamine. Okay, so generally here mast cells contain granules of heparin and histamine. Histamine produces inflammation, increasing permeability of blood vessels, which activates blood platelets and causes contraction of smooth muscles. So that when the inflammatory substances are produced, swelling substances are produced during allergic reactions by mast cells is histamine. Swelling substance is histamine. That is first option. Generally, heparin function is it prevents the clotting of the blood in the blood vessels. Okay, so third options are not involved in this question. Fibrinogen also not involved with this question. So first option for this question, the correct option is first option is correct. Next, 11th question. So which of the following cells can release heparin and histamine in the blood cells? Just now only we discussed. Okay, both the mast cells and basophils have cytoplasmic granules. Granules contains heparin, histamine, and other inflammatory substances. Okay, so then what question? Mast cells and basophils. Which of the following cells can release heparin and histamine in the blood means mast cells, basophils. Both can release heparin and histamine in the blood. So for this question, 11th question, correct option is third option is correct option. Remaining mast cells, wrong option. Eosinophils, wrong option. Eosinophils and mast cells is wrong option. Generally, mast cells and basophils have cytoplasmic granules. Those granules contains heparin, histamine, and other inflammatory substances. So that third option is correct option. Next, 12th question. Nucleus pulposus is present in. Nucleus pulposus is present in. See here, nucleus pulposus is present in. In this question, pulposus, nucleus pulposus is present in. See, center of skull bones. In the skull bones, nucleus pulposus is not found. Patella, yes. Kneecap, also we cannot find. Scapula, in this also we cannot find. Yes. Center of intervertebral disc. So center of intervertebral disc, a soft area is present. That is called nucleus pulposus, a center of intervertebral discs. So generally, so in vertebral column, so vertebra like this way, vertebra are located. So in between these vertebral, in between these two vertebra, there is a soft portion will be there. Soft portion. This soft portion is called intervertebral disc. Intervertebral disc. Center of intervertebral disc is found in nucleus pulposus. Nucleus pulposus, this is found in between the center of intervertebral discs. Okay, that's all. So 12th question, correct option is 4th. 13th question. Unipolar neurons with an axon and no dendrites are present in. See, what is unipolar neuron? Have only one axon. But here dendrites are absent. Such type of neurons are found in embryo. Only one axon and cell body is present. Dendrites are absent. That is found in embryos. Okay, so dorsal root ganglia of spinal cord. Actually, in this one, unipolar neurons we cannot find. Brain we cannot find. Retina we cannot find. We will find these kind of neurons only in embryos. Option 1 is correct option. Okay, that's all. Thank you.